The next common question, and again, in the first video, we saw that people ask you, the interviewers ask you, tell me something about yourself. And the other way of asking the same question is, tell me something about yourself that is not there in your CV or resume. Many a time, when interviewers or panelists are bored of asking the same question in the same way, they slightly flip the question. They say that, okay, fine, tell me something about yourself that is not there in your CV. It basically means that they want to know something which they already have, something which they haven't known about you. So when I go through your CV, I come to know about your academics. Many a time I come to know about your academics. I come to know about your extracurricular activities, about your achievements, and technical and non-technical competencies, etc. Right? So let's read here. It says here you should strictly refrain from talking about your academics, because you already have mentioned that in your CV, your achievements and your professional work experience, because it is quite possible that you have already mentioned about these things in your CV or resume. In short, something that the interviewer already knows about you, he doesn't want to know about that. And many of us, in spite of knowing that he wants to know something more about us that is not there in the CV, we keep on making the same mistake of telling the same thing which is already there in the CV. So, speaking about these in spite of knowing that they have asked something that is not a part of CV would indeed create a very poor impression, because that means you haven't paid much attention to his question. So, one ways of winning the confidence, or creating confidence of the interviewers, or creating a very positive impression on the interviewers, is by answering the exact question which they have asked. We have this tendency to answer questions which is to give answers which is not matching the expectation of the interviewer. So if he says that, tell me something about yourself which is not there in the CV, you should precisely come up with something which is not there in the CV. What should you speak of then, right? So here you shouldn't mind becoming a little informal. Why? Because all the formal things, so in CV or your resume, we usually mention all the formal things. When I say the formal things, by formal things I mean to say that you mention about your academics, about your extracurricular activities, about your achievements, about your technical and non-technical achievements, whatever it might be. But when the interviewer says that, okay, now please, I am tired of going through all these things, tell me something about yourself which is not there in the CV, that time you have a very very good opportunity to become a little informal. And the moment you become a bit informal, or the moment you have a chance of becoming a little informal, you have a very good chance of creating a place, or creating a soft corner in the interviewer's heart. What should you speak about in that case? In that case, you can speak about why your friends like you or don't like you, in the sense that what are the qualities which your friends admire in you, and something like this. I mean, I don't say that you have to always speak about these things, but something which is not there in the CV but still makes you very interesting. Do you like to go out of the way and help someone? Like for example, many sometimes you might have gone out of the way and must have done something for someone else. You might have got into some kind of social community activities, and that might have been a great lesson for you. You might speak about that. You might have read many books, and you can talk about the book, the movie, or the real life incident that has changed your outlook towards life. You can speak about that in the question which says that, tell me something about yourself which is not there in the CV. You can also speak about your spiritual, moral, ethical values, because nowhere in the CV do we mention these things, right? We don't mention our ethical, spiritual, and moral values, right? So again, you have a very good chance of saying that, okay, sir, yes, by nature I am very friendly, but still I think I am a man of principles and things and that. So whatever. So basically, again, you should prepare for such questions, because it is quite likely that the interviewer might ask you about something which is not there in the CV. And again, by speaking about these things, you might create a very good impression about yourself. Please understand, a person who does not understand his own self cannot understand others. And through these questions, you have a very, very good opportunity of telling the interviewer that yes, you are a guy or a person who is very well aware of his qualities, his achievements, his own personal traits, right? Apart from the general academic, non academic highlights of your career, your tell me something about yourself can have many other colorful aspects of your life. Again, I'm telling you, you must add color to your answers. Your answers can be dull, they can be boring, they can be colorful. How to make them colorful? You can always be very enthusiastic while speaking about yourself. See, you're going for an interview, and you must project the best side about your own self. And please understand the final lesson: the more you have thought about and prepared yourself about it, and in the sense that the more you have thought about yourself and the more you're ready to answer about yourself, the more likely you are to impress the interviewers with your answers. Anything which you prepare with great care will always create an impression, and many a time it happens that we are surprised or we don't have a proper answer to a simple question like, tell me something about yourself. Why does this happen? This happens because we are not prepared. So where we should have completed the answer in 40 to 50 seconds, we end up speaking for 1 minute or more than 1 minute without effectively communicating as to what we are and what we want to be. Fine. So please, I will repeat the same thing again. When you have a question such as, tell me something about yourself, or tell me something about yourself that is not there in your CV, you must ensure that you are prepared. So preparation is the key to good impression. And what can a question like, tell me something about yourself that is not in the CV include? You can include all these points: what your friends think about you, what your parents think about you. Do you like to, I mean, you might have done something which is, there are so many things in life which we never mention on the CV, right? You can include all those things. You can in fact sort, these are the two, three, four, five best things which I should mention, which are not there in my CV, in case if there's a question that arises in the interview, that tell me something about yourself which is not there in the CV, right? So this is all about this question. We will go and take the next most common interview question.